Tonight, Canada's postal workers hit the picket lines. Protesters gather in Regina after the mayor cancels a Palestinian flag raising at City Hall. And the Regina Rams make their final adjustments heading into Saturday's Mitchell Bowl.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Friday, November 15th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thanks for joining us. Thousands of Canada Post workers are now on strike. The walkout began at the stroke of midnight after negotiations stalled. Aishwarya Dutta has more on how it could affect mail service in the lead up to the holiday season.
I'm here at the Canada Post sorting facility in Saskatoon, where postal workers started picketing early this morning. Canada Post workers are on strike nationwide. 55,000 employees off the job just days ahead of the holiday season.
Morale obviously suffers sometimes over time when the weather gets chilly, but I don't know if I've ever been on a picket line that isn't somewhat cold weather. So it's one of those things, but it's been pretty good. You can see we've got a lot of people out here today, and I'm just really excited about that.
The strike comes after a year of bargaining. The postal workers say they want more money. Canada Post offered an 11.5% increase over 4 years. The union wants close to double that, 22%. The union is also asking for improved retirement benefits and better health and safety conditions.
Right now we're actually on strike. This is our first day on strike. We are just trying to at least meet in the middle for what our demands are and hopefully have a good kind of center ground.
In a statement, Canada Post said the strike means some post offices would close and no mail or parcels would be delivered. Canada Post also says it's losing money, down almost $500 million so far this year.
This is really tough on, well, everybody, but we know the struggle is really high for the single income families, and there are quite a number of them. As I said, I am one of them.
Obviously, we're willing to be out here on the line as long as it needs to be.
In the past, CUPW did rotating strikes and employees would picket on different days in different locations. This time, there are no rotating pickets. It's all units coast to coast. Key mail like pension and unemployment checks will still get through, but expect delays. Aishwarya Dutta, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Pro-Palestinian protesters gathered at City Hall in Regina this morning, upset about a change of heart by outgoing Mayor Sandra Masters over the raising of the Palestinian flag. Shlok Talati reports.
More than 100 pro-Palestinian protesters have shown up here at the City Hall. The organizers had hoped to raise the Palestinian flag, but that event got abruptly cancelled last evening. And city officials say that outgoing Mayor Sandra Masters made that decision.
I came to the protest. I was coming to the flag raising yesterday and I was so excited. I was like, finally, City of Regina is taking the stance that they need to. But unfortunately, I have to come to the protest instead.
The mayor's office hasn't said why things changed. Masters lost her re-election bid, but she is still in charge and will stay on until the new mayor is sworn in.
Unfortunately, a lot of people had the feeling that this was not a surprising move, despite how disappointing it may be and how sudden it came to be.
Advocacy groups were quick to react. One group called the about face, quote, disturbing. Another group was applauding the move. Fatima Kheri is a mother originally from Sudan. She says the flag should have gone up as a symbol of support to the children and civilians killed by Israeli attacks in Gaza.
It's unfair and it's a coward action. Why do you want to silence your citizen? The only thing we want to do here is just to speak up, support other people who's going through difficult times.
The protesters are also upset the city allowed an Israeli flag-raising ceremony earlier this year. That decision prompted a recommendation to stop raising flags of other nations' Independence Days. But that recommendation was never debated.
The only guarantee in this is that I can't make anyone happy right now on this. It's tough. And if we could wave a wand, we would have had that policy discussed and approved by council back in September.
The city's move comes amid ongoing violence and tension in the Middle East. since the October 7th attack in Israel and the retaliations that followed. Even though the flag was not raised as planned, there will be more discussions. The city clerk says the flag issue will be one of the first orders of business for Regina's new mayor and council. Shlok Talati, CBC News, Regina.
A Regina man whose niece was one of the victims of the October 7th Hamas attacks is speaking out. Tiferet Lapidot was attending a music festival when the attack happened. Her uncle, who lives in Regina, says Tiferet hid in some bushes and called her parents. He shared his memories of her with us.
That's a picture of Tiferet when we were together in Thailand for the weekend that she came especially to see and to be with us for 3 days. She went through such a long trip. See the girl, she's full of happiness, living the life, happy, and as always smiling. The Saturday, Simchat Torah, it's a high holiday, one of the most happiest days in the Jewish calendar. The phone in Tiferet's parents' house rang at 9:30. Can you imagine the horrific, horrible, most horrible phone call from a daughter telling her mother, "Mom, I love you, help me." And there's nothing to do. The phone went off. That was the last time we've heard from her. For more than 11 days, we didn't know what happened. Tiferet was a girl full with happiness, with a great smile. She was always smiling in the way that another person couldn't resist smiling back to her. Even not one moment in the day that I don't miss her and her great smile.
Doctors in northern Saskatchewan say they found 27 possible cases of scurvy in the L'Orange area. And they say the high number of cases highlights food security issues in the province. Scurvy happens because of a lack of vitamin C. Symptoms include bleeding gums, loose teeth, fatigue, and joint pain. Researchers say the rising cost of living is impacting what vitamin C-rich foods people can afford to buy. Access to fresh produce rich in vitamin C is also worse in remote communities. Well, L'Orange was one of a few communities this week that saw its mayor acclaimed in its municipal election. But the same couldn't be said for other mayors across the province, including Sandra Masters in Regina. The municipal election was the topic of conversation for the political panel on CBC Radio's Morning Edition.
People have asked me on election night and since, who is Chad? What's his story? How did this happen? Because all of the, I think, money was on Sandra Masters and Lori Bresciani to try and duke it out.
Literally, I think all of the
yes,
money.
And they duked it out for second and third. And so this is something I think you have to go back to 2000 when Pat Fiacco won to see this sort of outsider win, knocking off sort of established candidates and really people going like, wait a second, who is this? And from all we've heard is that, you know, this campaign, Chad's campaign was grassroots. It was word of mouth. It was a lot on social media, and it had a lot to do with people checking out his platform online, checking out his candidate videos, his interview with yourself and others, and liking what he had to say. And that's really all it took. And the thing that really stood out to me on election night, I was at Sandra Masters' headquarters, which I think was prepped for a party, and it didn't happen, was when that first batch of results came out. There were the advance votes. Chad Bajinski was in first, and fairly commandingly. And we have to remember in Regina, the advance votes were a week ago. And so that gives a lot of people time from last week to this week to go, oh, who'd you vote for? Oh, really? Why'd you vote for him? Okay. And then people are looking into it, and we had a bigger voter turnout. Obviously, still pretty bad as far as
yeah, well, more
comparison.
like 1 in 4 than instead of 1 in 5.
And I hate to see what would happen if we had, 1 in 3. What would have happened at the polls? 2-hour waits, 3-hour waits. They weren't really, didn't seem like they were prepared for just that small of an increase. Saskatoon had 35% turnout.
Like that is more than 1 in 3 people.
And they had people acclaimed. And so
oh, wow.
That to me tells me there's something wrong going on with communication, going around with what people know about civic politics in Regina. People are very angry. I see the comments. I hear from people in the community, but maybe they don't know what their city and council do. And if they did, there'd be more people out voting.
Well, a few birds still hanging around despite a cloudy and chilly day in Saskatoon, but they may find themselves caught in some messy weather as they head south. Riley Lachuk has the details in his forecast when we come back. Welcome back. A woman from L'Orange is being hailed a hero after jumping into the icy Sucker River to save a drowning boy. Elaine Ratt's shift at the local convenience store was interrupted by a boy who ran in begging for help on Sunday. He led Ratt to the nearby lake, where he says his friend had fallen through the ice.
Yeah, I just made sure that I had 911 on the phone, and then I already just started dialing and was explaining to 911 that there was a little boy that fell through the ice. So all that was going through my mind was make sure that this kid is keeping his head above water and try to grab onto the ice and trying to reassure him that he was going to be okay. I started walking on the ice and started hearing that the ice was cracking. And I was like, hey, no, I can't go any further. So I got down on my knees and started crawling towards the boy. And yeah, by the time I was getting towards him, he was already starting to float down underneath the water. The ice broke underneath me as I was crawling towards him. So I got close enough that I could grab him from under the water. The water was up to my neck. Made sure that he was breathing before I actually got him on the ice and that he was more responsive. So I just waited for that, got him up on the ice. He was able to roll towards the shore a bit more, where he was more safe on the ice until I was able to get out of the water, which I was kind of afraid that I couldn't get out, because every time I tried to get out of the water, I struggled. It kept breaking. He kept telling me that he wasn't able to walk. So I was so I carried him with all my soaking clothes and his soaking clothes. And then once RCMP arrived, we managed to get off all the soaking clothes that he had. The grandma said that his body temperature started to go up not too long after. So that was such a relief. Even growing up in the north, that's always one of my biggest fears is kids going on thin ice and falling through.
Well, it is go time for the University of Regina Rams. The team will take on the University of Laval Rouge et Or at Mosaic Stadium Saturday. It is expected to be a pretty tough battle, but the Rams say they're staying positive.
The way everything kind of played out is just our resilience and the fact that we just believe in each other, believe in what we do, believe in our game plan, and hopefully on Saturday we come out to win.
And speaking of Saturday, what do you know about the Rouge?
We know that they're a good team. We know that they're going to come out. They're going to come out physical, and we just got to match our physicality and show them who we are as Regina Rams.
They're a French team. That's all I know about them. I don't know Laval like that, All I know, they're a French team, and I hope the cadence not in French too, You're
gonna go take French 100 before you do this?
Yeah, trust me. Translator on me.
Have you seen any tape on him at all?
Yeah, 100%. We have tape already. We're working on the game plan right now as we speak. I can't talk too much about it, but Saturday comes, we're gonna ball out.
Yeah, it's kind of that bully ball mentality. We just want to be on the ball. We want to be ball hawks. We want to be tackling. We want a full speed to the ball, a lot of pursuits. Do all the things necessary to get the ball in our offense's hands.
What is the strength of that Laval offense?
The quarterback's he's a dude. He's a big, strong pocket passer. We know that he will sling the rock around. That's a big strength, and obviously just their age on the O-line, like they're 25, 26, 25 years old. So we know that they're a well-oiled machine, and they are a veteran for sure. Yeah, we're the only show in town, so we might as well come down, and it's going to be a great brand of football. It's going to be hard. It's going to be fast. It's going to be hard hitting. We know we're going to bring it. So nothing like taking it to some French guys.
And game time Saturday is at 2 o'clock at Mosaic Stadium. Meanwhile, the Saskatchewan Roughriders season may be over, but one player is walking away with a CFL award. Defensive back Rolan Milligan Jr. has been named the CFL's most outstanding defensive player. Milligan was honored at the league's awards banquets Thursday night. Milligan led the CFL in interceptions and registered over 100 defensive plays, good for 5th overall. Long snapper Jorgen Hughes was also honored with the Jake Godar Veterans Award, given to the CFL player who demonstrates strength, perseverance, and contribution to Canadian communities.
This weather update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz Regina, proud member of the Capital Automotive Group.
Well, the sun finally managing to come out a bit in Regina after a cloudy start to the day, but looks like we could have some interesting weather on our way once again. We'll find out with Riley Lachuk, who is here now with a look at our forecast. Hi, Riley.
So, Ethan, another above seasonal day for some of us in especially southern sections of the province today. Double digits once again, which is a good 8 degrees, even 10 degrees above seasonal in some cases for this time of the year. 10 degrees in Assiniboia. Regina getting to 5, bit more of a reality check for central and northern sections, close to the freezing mark. Saskatoon at 1 this afternoon, and the Battleford's getting to about -1 this afternoon. So looking at satellite and radar through the afternoon hours here, we have started to see a bit of cloud start to build into that extreme southern part of the province. This is that area of low pressure here that brought some rain and some snow to the parts of the province earlier in the week, and did a little bit of foreshadowing with this cloud cover here. You can see what will be our next weather maker impacting some parts of the province as we get into the weekend here. So as I put this in motion, starting the day on Saturday, cloud builds in through the overnight hours. I've stopped here at 3 o'clock in the morning because you can see Regina really right on the edge of some of this precipitation here. Most of the forecast modeling has actually been pushing this further south and east, but there is a chance that in Regina through the morning hours tomorrow, we could see some rain, some mixing, or even some light snow first thing, with temperatures dipping below the freezing mark. And you'll watch as we get through the morning hours tomorrow, Regina really sitting on that line of a mainly cloudy sky or a little bit of flurries or some light snow. So I do have a fairly good chance that Regina will pick up a bit of precipitation. Just what that is really will depend on the temperatures as we get into the morning hours tomorrow. Behind that, we see some clearing as we head through into the day on Sunday. A little bit of instability across far northern parts of the province, but by and large, Sunday looking like it is going to be a much brighter day. Wind's not too much of a factor either as we get into the later part of the weekend. In terms of rain, I know some of this will be falling as snow, really temperature dependent in that southeastern section, but places like Estevan, 5-10 millimeters not out of the question. Regina really on the line, so I'm thinking more like 2 to 5 millimeters. If some of this does fall as snow, though, we are looking at 2 to 5 centimeters. Some pockets, particularly in the Parkland region, I think maybe could see some of those higher amounts in some of those higher elevations, say around the Duck Mountains or so. So starting temperatures tomorrow morning at or below the freezing mark for most of us. Regina right on the freezing mark. That's why I say we could see some of this falling as some light flurries or some wet snow first thing in the morning. We get up to a high of 1 in the afternoon tomorrow, kind of a reality check, more seasonal for this time of the year. 6 degrees for Sunday, and then look what happens to our temperatures as we get later into the week. A slight chance of a little bit more instability Monday into Tuesday, and then double-digit overnight lows in the minus as we get through the later part of next week. Saskatoon, Ethan, looking at a high of 1 tomorrow. Very similar temperatures, and again, we get that reality check as we get later in the week.
All right, thank you, Riley.
See, the first instrument I had was a Stradivarius cello from them, and that one I knew the value of. At the time, it was $12 million. This is not as expensive as that. Stradivarius is in another league, but I know this is expensive enough that I need an alarm system at home.
Cellist Cameron Crosman showing off his 250-year-old cello to our colleagues at CBC Edmonton. It's currently on loan from the Canada Council for the Arts Instrument Bank. Over the years, he has traveled all over the world playing shows and is currently on tour in Alberta. Stay with us. We're back after the break. It's been 139 years since Métis leader Louis Riel was executed after being charged with treason in 1885. Riel led 2 resistances to defend Métis rights and is seen as a hero by many rather than a rebel. Saturday, his life will be commemorated at events across the province. In Regina, there will be a walk and vigil at Optimist Park starting at 4:30. People will walk down Dewdney Avenue toward the RCMP barracks where Riel was hanged. One Métis Nation director says she hopes people will come to learn about Riel's life and legacy.
We open it up to all community to come and attend and join us. There'll be a prayer there. There'll be a few guest speakers, and we just really share in community and in being able to know that we're bringing and maintaining our cultural, practices and beliefs as well.
It's important because we can't forget, right? These people fought for us, for our rights, for our freedoms, and we can't forget that. We have to honor them and keep those memories alive.
The Gabriel Dumont Institute will also be hosting a ceremony to honor Riel, Métis veterans, and Métis matriarchs at the Batoche Historic Site, where Riel's famous battle at Batoche took place. Anyone can come and take in some entertainment, along with the laying of a wreath and a book launch.
So I know it's not the Grey Cup, but there is some football happening tomorrow in Saskatchewan. The U of R Rams taking on Laval tomorrow afternoon at 2. We are looking at mostly cloudy conditions. By the afternoon, we should start to see maybe a couple hints of sunshine, but do prepare for a bit of a cooler day ahead tomorrow. So Regina starting out tomorrow morning -2, rain or some snow first thing in the morning, a fairly good chance of that, -1 by the lunch hour. And then we're looking at a 1 degree high for the afternoon tomorrow in the afternoon. Sun as we get later into the afternoon tomorrow. For Saskatoon, -4 first thing, a chilly start to the day, but a lot more seasonal as we get through the afternoon hours, Ethan, and a bit of sunshine as well later in the day.
Okay, thank you, Riley, and we'll be cheering loud for the Rams tomorrow for sure. That is it for us tonight. For news anytime, you can always head to our website, cbc.ca/sask, subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel, or you can also download the CBC News app. Thanks so much for watching. We are back on Monday at 6. Until then, have a great night and a wonderful weekend.